Welcome to the Spoiler Kings. My name is Tankcramer. I'm with Peppa MD, Will, and we got special guests. We got the Grizzly from Pan and Grizzly Show. We got Brian.
Yeah, sweet.
How's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
Like
pretty
a
good.
villain.
Yeah, like an anti-hero after this movie.
Right?
I don't know. Yeah, that was a bad segue. But yeah, so
how was your guys' weekend though? How was your weekend, Kramer?
not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah.
It was
I mean, what did you do on this great weekend?
So just had lunch with the family, celebrated my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Nah, get out of here.
All right, guys. In the comments, everyone's gonna sing happy birthday to Kramer. Hey.
You're gonna I'm keeping that up, and I'm keeping that up. That's gonna be like a thing on the show now. It's gonna be the
crying face.
Dear Evan Hansen crying face. Like
that's the crying.
Not the
That's
ugly cry.
it's the rate never. When we rated
yeah,
our,
that's when we rated never.
Yeah, I'll give it the crying
We
face.
rated Evan Hansen.
All right.
We got Oli. Thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you. Oh, she's on Facebook. Facebook is back up, huh?
Yeah, right. It was down for like most of the day. No one knows what to do with themselves.
People are losing their mind about Facebook.
They didn't know that people actually paid attention driving. It was crazy. I was like, man, I was looking at people were not even looking down at their phone when they're driving. I didn't know what.
Yeah, I know, right? I know the best thing is like, oh, Facebook ain't working. Let me go to Instagram. I was like,
Yeah.
Let me tell you who owns Instagram. So,
Twitter was lit though. I will say that Twitter. Yeah. Twitter almost shut down.
Yeah,
because of all the traffic.
That's all they had left. They had left.
Pretty much.
Yeah, right. Am I sounding good or am I a little delayed for you guys?
You sound okay. Everyone sounds okay.
Okay. All right. Yep. All right. So we got that out of the way. So we're doing Venom, Let There Be Carnage this week on the review. You guys want to watch the trailer, and Will, you want to tell us what it's about?
Yeah. Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So with the new 2021 movie, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, we have Eddie Brock. This is a sequel to the first Venom. We have Eddie Brock, and he's still struggling to coexist with the shape-shifting extraterrestrial known as Venom. When deranged serial killer Cletus Cassidy also becomes host to an alien symbiote, Brock and Venom must put aside their differences to stop his reign of terror. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in this movie, right? We have like conflicts between obviously Eddie and Venom. They're going at it. And then we got what's his name? Cletus Cassidy trying to get out of jail, trying to think of everything in the book just to get out. And he's crazy, man. Look at him. Nobody rocks that hairstyle. And so he's a crazy nut job that he does exactly the right moves to try to get out. Right? Oh, damn. Anyways,
who cut his hair from the last movie? That's the question.
I don't even know, man.
Who cut his hair? Like another one. Like what happened?
That's one of the best things is he got rid of that stupid wig.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
Now, before the movie, right, guys? Even before the first movie, were you guys Team Venom or Team Carnage growing up with the comics?
I was more Venom. I was like Venom. Carnage was cool, but
Venom.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I kind of like Carnage more, man. He's just, I kind of like that crazy, chaotic, just, sometimes you make the wrong moves and kill the wrong people, but fuck it. Carnage. Love chaos.
I like Venom because I love the anti-hero. I love Spawn. I love those type of guys, the guys who's not really a hero, but kind of become a hero because of who they are.
Yeah.
Start off bad and then turn good.
So if that's the case, then you like Deadpool then?
I loved it. I loved it.
Got it.
Oh yeah. So Oli said we went to the movie Thursday. Had some dude removed by security.
Yeah, dude was not. I felt like that dude had a symbiote attached to him. Man, he was acting.
He was the real life.
He was yelling throughout the theater. So he kept like just walking through the aisles like it was nothing, like we're not in a pandemic or something, right? With his mask down, or if not, like in his pocket. And so that's one thing, right? Everyone has their own opinion about that. But then like he's yelling in the middle of the movie, not even like, not even in the previews, not even after. No, he's yelling. He's like, Eddie, and he's just yelling this real stupid.
What the hell, man?
Nuts, crazy experience, man. It kind of like added on to the movie for me. It wasn't even like the worst part, but it was interesting because like it just got, you know, just exponentially worse and worse with this guy, to the point where he got removed by security. 4 security personnel had to he was in the front row, fucking guy, and he kept like arguing with people left and right of him, and he's having like conversations. Man, rough. It was rough.
I would say like, you got, hey, bro, I would look at and say, come look at me real quick. You got one more time. One more time.
That's funny. I mean, like, it wasn't a long reign of terror from this guy, but like, I will say, it happened like a few times, and then he would leave. So we're like, oh, he's done. And so then he come back, and it's just like, if we were to go try to trick on him, right? He came back. Yeah. If we were to try to trick on him, he's already have left. And someone did try that. It wasn't until he returned, like I think a second time, that someone else went to go talk to, you know, staff, and then, you know, security got called. And he didn't really interrupt anything bad in the movie, to be honest. But I was just lucky. It was a lucky, isolated incident type deal. But yeah, that was my experience.
Did it kind of ruin the movie for you though?
No, so that's what I'm leaning towards. It didn't ruin the movie for me. I thought it was interesting. I thought he was like low key. I kind of thought it was an act. Maybe like Marvel like sent some dude to like act up, and like he was gonna get taken. Like I thought it was a stunt or something. But then I find out real.
You're like in the Rocky Horror Picture Show kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. And I thought it was something like having to do with Marvel, but then I'm like, no, don't think so. I think he's just crackhead doing crackhead things.
Yeah.
So
that sucks. That really sucks, man. It's like I get movies like do well, which we're gonna talk about this movie doing in how well it did in theaters.
Right.
But man, I still like watching movies at home just because I don't have to deal with that. I dealt with 2 crying babies.
Yeah. Ooh.
You know. I was like, who brings a baby? There was one like right next to us on the other side of the to a Venom movie. The name is Venom. Let There Be Carnage. What? Luckily, the baby was quiet the whole time. But then there was like 2 other like small. They must have been pretty small. Somewhere in the front that were just like screaming at one point. It didn't last long, but I was like, what the hell? Yeah. So it was like, that's the stuff I'm like, I prefer to be at home. I like stuff, you know. I was like, So, I mean, I get movies are awesome, but I don't know.
Man, I don't know. My movie theater was real quiet, and then every time I stood up, everyone looked at me.
They're making sure you're not gonna go running up and down the aisle.
I don't know.
Yeah, that sucks, man. Well, welcome back to theater.
How would you guys kind of summarize the movie? Like, how would you summarize what you think the movie really was?
That's
for yourself.
A quick like run through. I would just say it's you got conflicts or arguments between Venom and Eddie, and then whole time what's his name? Cletus Cassidy is trying to get out of jail because he's about to get executed, and he keeps for some reason having like an obsession with Eddie, so he sends him little love notes and shit like that, little like riddles and whatnot. And so just to get close to him, as soon as he gets close to him, he bites the shit out of his hand, and that's how he gets exposed to the symbiote. Once that happens, breaks out, and then you get the rest of the movie pretty much. Do you guys want to take over? You want to take over?
Well, I saw somebody say it, and I really agreed with what they said. They said, he goes here, like the movie was like, we are Venom, I am Carnage. He goes, that's basically the movie. I was like, yeah, pretty much.
That's
you know,
a very
where it's
good
just
one.
like,
Wow.
it was like, you know, relationship. We are Venom was like a relationship versus like, you know, these guys doing their own thing, you know, kind of stuff. You know, so it was. I read that, I was like, that's probably the best way to put it, and I really like him. Like, that's good.
Didn't Muhammad Ali have a poem that was like just like that? His poem was like a few words. It was like you, me, we, or something like that. Something real.
Oh, maybe.
That's what it reminded me of.
Maybe.
Interesting.
I mean, there's a lot of poetry in this movie by Cletus of all people.
Right.
A lot of Macbeth. A lot of Don Quixote.
My wife actually saw it. She gave me. She told me that she really enjoyed it. First of all, she really enjoyed it. But I said, "So what do you think about the movie?" She was like, "It was like 4 competing love stories." You know, so like Eddie and Venom.
Yeah.
You know, and then what's his name and his wife?
Dan or Don? I forget.
Yeah. And then you have Dan and Anne. Oh, girl, Anne. Yeah. And then Carnage, not, you know, as you said, Carnage being by himself and ruining all the relationships with himself. I mean, by himself, because he's not willing to work on the relationship between him and what is Woody Harrelson's name? The guy
Cletus Cassidy. Cletus?
Yeah. Cletus. So he's not willing to develop a relationship with him, and that's why he's ruining all 3 of the other relationships.
Yeah.
And I was like,
okay. Yeah.
Well, he did love someone, right? He loved what's her name?
Shriek.
So Cletus, he loved her, and they were getting married, but
hey, thank you.
Venom kept getting in the way of that too. I mean, Venom, Carnage got in the way of that too.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, when we talk something about the bad stuff, I want to talk about their relationship with at the end kind of thing, and I was like about it, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the thing was this whole movie was based on relationships, you know, like, you know, relationships ending, you know, like with Eddie and Anne from the first one to this one, obviously, relationships like being kind of like toxic, like with obviously Venom and Eddie, also like being able to deal with somebody, you know, like a soulmate, I guess, that like it's always isn't like always perfect, you know, but stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know, you know, it was very that's very true. The whole thing is based on 2 people doing something together, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, you know, and
sometimes when you separate, you realize how much you actually miss that person, how much you really love that person.
True.
Yeah.
Just like Eddie and Venom, it was like, oh man, we're not together. Man.
Yeah.
That was really
well, it was literally killing Venom. So, like, you know, and then without Venom, Eddie was going to get killed. So, I mean, it was also kind of codependency, which isn't always the healthiest either. So, yeah, it was. The relationships in this movie were very weird. You know, I would think Dan and Anne probably had the healthiest relationship. Because like there was a lot of trust Dan gave Anne. That was a lot of trust. Like, hey, I need to go help my old ex-boyfriend. Yeah.
That was a lot of trust, man.
And then she lied to him too. She was like,
up.
It has nothing to do with aliens, right? No, nothing to do with aliens. Find out, get there. It's all to do everything with aliens. He's like,
it's only.
and then he's fighting Carnage by himself. Like, lighter fluid. Like, come on, that's Dan's a keeper. Yeah, for real. Well, even at the end, Venom was like, "I like Dan." It was like at the beginning, you were like, "Fuck Dan." You did the little slap in the face, which was funny, man. The funny parts in this movie were well done. I thought were very. They weren't too much where you kind of get pulled out of the movie. You're like, that was stupid.
they were like, it was kind of funny. Me personally, like, Venom shouldn't be funny, but it worked, in what they were trying to do. But overall, Venom should not be funny. His name is Venom, like he's got big crazy teeth and shit. But it worked for the movie. But there's one part what you guys think when Venom went back with Anne and kind of she became like she Venom or whatever they called it. And gave it back to Eddie, and she's like, I don't ever want to do that again. I don't know, maybe a little bit. It felt good. I was like, oh wait, so she likes it? I was like, oh, okay.
That was interesting.
That was kind of cool. I don't know, what are some of the other things that you guys liked?
I don't know, the whole movie in itself, like I feel like Venom in itself, like I say, should be dark. This should be a dark movie, and I felt like the comedy was just out of place in itself. Like I feel like it was funny. It wasn't too much, but just out of place. Like I feel like we have Venom and Carnage. This should be an epic movie, and kind of came down to being a joke, and shouldn't be a joke because these are two of the most bad, characters in all of Marvel, and these guys are just like, it's a joke. It's not a joke. This should be serious, almost scary. It should almost be scary. Like they have the wrong people directing this stuff. It shouldn't be funny.
It's so sad because I thought Andy Serkis is the man. I think he's really good, but I don't know if it's Sony or if it's Andy, what the issue was with it. But I feel like the joke should have came out of.
I just think it's the wrong direction.
No. Yeah, exactly. It was like, if anybody should have been funny, it should have been Carnage, because he's crazy. I don't want to say like mental health because it's mental health week, but also like Woody Harrelson's character Cletus Cassidy is legit psychotic, crazy person, and he molds with Carnage in the comic book, and they become this like crazy thing. I was like, the comedy should have came out of that, where like he killed somebody and should have said something stupid. Instead, he bites a freaking priest's heads off and says "power up." What?
Man,
that was so stupid. I'm like, did he just say "power up"? I was like, the jokes are coming from the wrong place.
So much. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah, the crazy person should have been the funny, because he would do something super crazy and say something corny, crazy to go along with it, and you're like, oh, like this guy just doesn't care, kind of thing. But
it's Woody Harrelson. Even watch Zombieland. Woody Harrelson should be, that's what he's made to do. Make this stuff into a joke. He should have been the comedy relief. Everyone else should have been, it should be a dark movie, and he brings a little light to it. Makes it a little bit funnier. it should be an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
You didn't even see what's getting off, really.
I agree.
Was it not an R-rated movie? It was rated R, right?
I believe.
Was it? I don't know if it was. It was really R. They didn't see very R-rated to me.
Mm-hmm.
And they only said the F-bomb, I think, one time. PG-13. Yeah, PG-13.
Damn, it should have been rated R, man. They kind of like lost points there, right? That's fucked up.
No, but you really never saw anyone's head get being. You didn't see anyone's head.
No.
You knew that happened. They inferred
it was implied,
but you didn't see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
And that's why I thought it was weird. I was.
Okay, you know what? I guess let me be the silver lining to this. I will say one thing that kind of I liked was how Carnage came off. Like, so when you think of different Spider-Man suits, different Batman suits, different every suit that you ever think of, right? Representation matters, right? From the comics. How do you guys think Carnage came out? Just the imagery, right? How did he come out in the movies? Did he come out right? Was he well done? I think he was. No? Yeah, right?
Oh yeah.
I definitely saw
like
him like all like I don't know, slimy or is the word, but like him like icky looking and just like a fucking entity that he was. I think that was a win. Like if they didn't get that down, then man, this movie was just a sink. It was terrible movie. But at least they got that right. Venom. One thing that from the last Venom movie, I still have conflict with his what do you call that? His accent. He has a weird accent. I don't know if it's me. I feel like he should sound different. Maybe have a different voice.
Yeah. It's not as bad as it was from the first one. In the first one, it was really, really bad. And it's like, oh, we want you to be New York, New Jersey, but you're in San Francisco, so do this, some of that. And then he's British, so it's like he's a British trying to do a shitty New York accent who lives in California. It was like that's so many layers. Like in the first one, it was so bad. This one, it wasn't as noticeable. Like, my girlfriend never saw the first one, and she saw this and she goes, why did he sound like that? I was like, I don't know. It was like, but I'm like, it wasn't as bad as the first one. Yeah. So we're talking about accents. So the Venom talked a lot more, I felt, in this one than he did in the first one. Did you guys hear Bane? I heard Bane.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just me, especially in the nightclub when they're in the club and he's talking. I'm like, that's Bane without the muffle, like without the whole, but it's still Bane. I was like, what the hell? Like Bane through it's just like, I'm like, damn.
Bane was drunk without the muffle. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah. Like a loudmouth Bane, and it's like, obviously it's Tom Hardy, but.
Well, here's my problem. As I said, Venom, this being PG-13, this so was The Matrix. So like you have a movie where you have these dark characters, it's the same PG-13 as The Matrix, and that's where I'm like, you missed. I think you missed. Like you had everything lined up for you to make this a dark movie, and you made it on the same level as The Matrix. It's PG-13. That's what it was.
That's crazy. You point that out
in October.
Matrix sounds like a rated R movie, and it's not. Damn, they raised the bar high, man. That's a high bar to.
Venom, Let There Be Carnage. It sounds like PG, like rated R, but
that should be
PG-13.
Yeah. I mean, because of Deadpool, you found out like you could make a comic book movie and make it rated R, and people are still going to come and see it. You just need to do it with the right characters. Obviously Deadpool. Yes, Iron Man. There's no reason to make it rated R. Venom, yes, rated R for sure. And then when he comes, and does other
people's
stuff,
hair getting bent off instead of just like bodies flopping on the floor.
Yeah. Hey, it should be rated R because of the violence. That only the violence. Well, one more good thing that I liked was you were able to tell which blob was which. Because in the first one, you couldn't tell who was who. It was just one big blob, and then a face would pop out, and then a big blob, and another face. This one, like, it was well done more than the first one. Like, you were able to tell, oh, that's the red one, that's the black one. Cool. So
true.
And they made Carnage different than Venom. Like, you could even without the color, you could see what Carnage was, you could see what Venom was. And it was so weird. We kept on saying father. I was just like, yeah, I guess, it makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. Any other real good things before we move on to some of the more bad things? Even though we already talked about more of the bad things, but any good things that really stood out?
The plot was pretty linear, pretty straightforward plot.
Yeah, I like that.
Didn't get confusing. That's about it.
Yeah, simple. The acting wasn't too bad. I didn't mind the acting. The accent for what's the name was probably the worst thing, but the acting I thought was good. What do you guys think? So Tom Hardy, I was thinking his name. He recorded the Venom lines first, and then he had an earpiece in his ear, so when he was talking as Eddie to Venom, he can hear Venom in his ear, so it made it really more
have a good
like so he's able to have a conversation with himself. Like that I thought was really good, because Tom Hardy was the only one that took the first one serious. You can tell this, so I think this one was better by everybody overall. But I don't know, you guys want to talk about some of the bad stuff?
What do you think about what do you think about Miss Chin? Whatever about her,
Chin.
What was that? What's her name? In the market?
Oh, Miss Chen, the convenience store owner.
Her, the convenience store, and her helping Venom, allowing Venom to come in and stay there inside her body. I thought that was pretty cool about her, like, and her just
that was
being
pretty
a
cool.
Venom fan. She was like, "Oh yeah, I love you, Venom. Come on, how are you doing?" She nursed him back, and then she allowed him to absorb it to her. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
She kind of gave me vibes of like Deadpool's, right hand lady or the blind lady, whatever.
Yeah,
That's just super cool and chill with like whatever he has going on. She's just like, don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
that's what she kind of reminds me of a little bit.
She was cool. I like that. I like that whole scene, with like her like half Venom ish and still her, with the eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really well done. I guess this will lead into the bad stuff. We'll go for it. What happened?
Well, I mean, I think we really talked about the bad stuff. I mean, I don't think it was a bad made movie. I feel like it was just a bad premise. But for the premise that they chose, I think they did it pretty good. I mean, honestly, the movie itself
it
was
the
not
worst movie.
made poorly. Yeah,
no.
I mean,
I
it
agree.
reminded me of the first Venom. If you liked the first Venom, then you probably liked it. If you didn't like the first Venom, you probably didn't like it. But it's important to watch. Yeah, I think that's what Marvel people need to know. It's important to watch.
Well, we're gonna get into that in a little bit later. So if you're watching this live, stay tuned. If you're watching this on replay, we're gonna have another episode because I think it's important to watch because of the 2 minutes at the end of the post-credit scene.
It's a Marvel movie, right?
You could probably, you could do without this movie and the last movie and just show me those 2 minutes, and I would have still paid $30 to see the 2 minutes. So.
Yep.
But but no. One thing the scene with Miss Chen in Venom, I liked it, but then it literally it contradicted itself, like just from the scene before where Venom kept killing all these people because they couldn't maintain Venom, and we learned that from the first one is like him and Eddie had to be together because they had that relationship. Same thing with Anne and Venom had the relationship too, but it wasn't as strong as Eddie and Venom. So it was like, but she's there. It was like, what? She's gonna die, right? It was like, and you assume it's gonna be at least an hour or so while she had Venom in her, and she was like, "This cool." I was like, were they eating a lot of chocolate? I don't get it. Like, there was so many contradictions that the movie had in itself. Like, literally say one thing and then the next scene contradict it.
Well, I felt like it was because everyone was drinking. I felt like they're dehydrating themselves and they didn't have the chocolate and all that stuff, and that's why they're going so fast because they were drunk and it was running right through their body because they were already inebriated. And that's why I thought because he could stay in the body for a little bit if they're just fine. So she's eating chocolate and doing all that stuff. Maybe you can stay in the body for 12 hours. But when they're inebriated, they're dehydrated and all that stuff. They only stay in there for 30 minutes because that's what it seemed like. It was like 30 minutes later he was done.
I mean,
it wasn't too long.
Maybe it's chemistry between Venom and who he attaches himself to. Maybe if you have a good chemistry together, I mean, his little clique, right? The Asian lady and him were cool to begin with, right? Maybe because they're that cool, maybe she can withstand being a host for him longer than, let's say, a person that doesn't know Venom, like a stranger on the street. Because look at the blonde chick, right? I forgot her name. Anne. She could also withstand him too because she had to hold him too to transfer him off to Eddie. Again, they both, she was kind of flirting with him to get him to like go back and fight with Eddie. Yeah. So maybe it just comes down to just I guess social chemistry, like how he fucks with you. If Venom's cool with you, then maybe you don't die as quickly as a host. That's the only way. That's the only theory that I have.
Maybe
it also could be. You're willingly accepting him. If you willingly accept him, you're more easier to instead of trying to fight him all the time because they're like, oh no, he's in me, and they're fighting them off, and that's what makes them incompatible. But if you're willingly accepting it, makes it more compatible. Because just like Carnage,
that's good actually. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense with Carnage. Same thing.
Yeah. They were fine until Cletus and Carnage, separated. They didn't. Cletus didn't want him to kill his wife or girlfriend, whatever you want to be, Shriek, and that's when they started to separate. But if they willingly accept him, it might work a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, for me that was go for it.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was gonna move on to something different. It's like with Venom and Cletus was like in the comic book, Venom was unable to defeat Carnage without the help of Spider-Man in the comic book because Carnage was so stronger. Not because like I mean obviously physically stronger, but also is like his bond with Carnage went way more deeper. It was like blood, you know, it was like they were the same thing rather than Venom was a we. Like Carnage was legit like a one person kind of thing. They were the same thing, you know. And that's why he was so strong. The bond was so much stronger. And this one, they really don't get to that. They don't explain why Carnage was so much stronger than Venom. And still, no one has told me why Venom was afraid of the red one. Like,
yeah, that's like what I said. Why? Oh no, that's a red one. I'm out.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Oh, you can eat everybody," you know. And he's like, "Okay, cool." And then no one explains it. I was like,
and then he's still saying, "Oh, well, we were all about to die anyway. We're all about to die." What?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like he knows the red one's stronger, but or there's something up with the red one, but he doesn't explain it. Like, it doesn't get explained, which was kind of like I'm waiting for an explanation of why Venom was afraid of the red one. You know, because I could be wrong. Wasn't Toxin from number 1 also red?
Yep.
Toxin. I thought Toxin isn't he like the combined Venom and Carnage? I thought it was combined.
Toxin was a different one. I think he was like, it's weird. The first one was so fucking weird. Like, but I think Toxin was like a higher ranked than Venom.
A
Venom
better
was like the loser.
Yeah.
You know, a better symbiote. You know. It was something stupid.
Yeah.
So really, really stupid how they did it in the first one. But I thought he was also red, or was he gray? I don't really remember.
He was gray.
Like
it was gray.
Toxic was
yeah.
gray. He was gray.
Yeah.
I was watching it last night.
I mean, were you? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was one thing that really, really bugged me. It was like they don't explain why he was afraid of him, why he was stronger, and then they don't make their bond really stronger than Venom, because in the comic books it was way stronger than Venom's. You know, it was down to the cell level, you know, kind of bond. So I don't know, it was like little things like that bugged me.
I feel like they didn't pay off Shriek.
Oh God, no, that was horrible.
It was everything was there for her to say, I'm gonna join Venom's team, and that's the way they defeat Carnage, is because she says, I'm going to do this. Hey, just hold on. And they kind of did it, but they didn't really pay off for what she is. Her sound, they didn't explain her at all, but her sound can separate them. It hurts more than the fire. And they really didn't pay it off. They hinted at it, and they danced around it, and then they're like, oh, she died. Oh no.
Damn.
Yeah. That she was such a waste of a character that you should not even bothered with her, because for me it's like she also made Carnage weaker because of the connection she had with Cletus, you know. And it was just like really, that was weird. It was like, she was there solely because of her powers. They're like, oh, who has a screechy, you know, banshee voice? Like, oh, hey, here, you know, and we can make her in love. It was like, you know, it was like, you had the bell. Just do the bell. Do what Spider-Man 3 did, you know? Right. You know, just...
Exactly.
Exactly. You know, they did in the comic book. They did in the animated cartoon in the 90s with the church bell. They started to do it here, but it wasn't... I don't know.
They didn't want to do it again because they did the same thing. Didn't they do the same thing in the first Venom?
No.
The bell?
No. It was...
They did that with Tobey Maguire's... Spider-Man Venom. Which is super comic book accurate with what happened there, but here that wouldn't apply. So the sound of the bell that applies to a mechanic that they can use storyline wise, but the whole scene of separating Venom and whatnot, that's straight out of the comic with Spider-Man. When it comes to Carnage, one thing that would have, I guess, tied this movie up a little bit more, I guess maybe add on to the bond and make it more believable that Carnage is this entity that we know of, is maybe some more alone scenes with Carnage and Cletus Cassidy? What if like they like started going on a hunting spree and just started, you know, killing just for the fun of it, just for the bloodthirst of just killing, you know? Like that's what I was expecting, something like that.
Yeah.
And then when they both like see that, like, oh, not only do we have the same end goal in mind, but we also love killing too. Like shit, this could go on forever type deal. And then they can have him be a comeback character. They could have done a few things with him to make him more bonded.
Yeah. I felt like this movie was too short. An hour and 30 minutes was too short. They didn't really explain the backstory of Cletus. They didn't really jump into, you know, Carnage and Cletus, and, you know, as he said, about their connection, making it more of a connection, making it an understanding what, you know, what they did. How you gonna do a whole movie about Venom and then not even spend 10 minutes for Carnage? Only thing we got is this little poem. That's it.
Well, and then the car ride. And then the car ride was super quick. Like, you want something, I want something, let's help each other out. Cool. And then throws a car over the bridge. And then that's the only bonding moment we get of these two. I was like, what? Yeah, I wanted to see more of them together. But like going back to like Shriek with her like not being used right, like I agree with what Brian said, is like she should have, even though she was like a bad guy, she should have saw that like Carnage was taking Cletus away from her because they were becoming more like one or something. And then that's how she would have turned to Team Venom and helped them that way. You know, that would have made more sense, you know, because then you go back to the whole relationship theme of the film. You know, it was like, it's them, it's them, it's them, it's them. But now these two are kind of becoming one instead of a relationship. And the person who is in the relationship with one of them doesn't like it. You know, then you start doing stuff like that, you know, where she just gets tossed off the edge. And I was just like, what? I was like, and then she screams for some reason, which I'm like, I don't know. It just didn't make any sense. And I was really upset.
They just wasted. They wasted,
like,
as you said, they wasted a character for that.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, for that, you should have just had Banshee fly in, scream, and then fly off. And, you know, it was like, team again in X-Men. You know, it's like, that would have been better.
Boom.
You know?
I think this is why Kevin Feige said, I had nothing to do with this movie. It's nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Except the end.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. What
do you think?
I don't know. You guys want to?
I can't answer that.
No, go for it. Whatever.
No, I was going to ask about
post credit.
Yeah, some post credit. Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you think Kevin Feige is going to do to Venom specifically? Well, we'll wait. We'll ask that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. We're gonna do a whole post credit. We're gonna probably talk for about like 15 minutes for a scene that spent 2 minutes long. Anyway, let's get into where we at. Let's get into our reviews.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Oh, I can't put it up though. You want to go for it, Will?
Sure. So over here, as the Spoiler Kings, we review movies a little bit different over here. We review it either one of three ways. Okay, we're gonna do it either review now. If it's a watch now, that means you have to stop everything you're doing to give this movie a watch as soon as you can. If it's a watch later, that means it's maybe something you could put on the back burner that's still worth watching, but maybe not right now. And if it's a watch never, that means you should never give this movie any time of day at all. What do you guys think about the movie? What about you, Grizzly? How'd you like the movie? Is it a watch now, a later, or never? And why?
I feel like it's a watch now-ish because of what you have to watch, because of the ending. But I feel like it's like the first Venom. Like how I explained it was, when Venom's coming on the TV, I see it on TNT. Do I stop and watch? Because, you know, Thor Ragnarok comes on almost every time I'm watching it. Ant-Man comes on almost every time I'm watching it. Endgame comes on almost every time I'm watching it. This is a movie that I see it, I'm like, oh, hey, Zombieland's on. Let me watch that one instead. You know, like I would, you know, go. I feel like it's one of those, you watch it once and you're gonna be fine, and then you probably don't have to watch it again.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not priority. Is it priority for you? Like, do you have to stop everything you're doing to watch it, or
you better watch it before December 23rd?
Okay, so the main reason why, and not to dig into the ending too much, but the main reason why this is even a now, like, it's not because of the movie itself, but because of the progression in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's why, because that makes sense.
Yep.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Exactly.
What about you, Kramer? What do you think about the movie? What do you rate it?
Same.
So I gotta give it a later. I gotta give the movie a later, post credit scene a now. I don't know if that's even possible.
Sure.
You know, like if we could split it. I did. If anybody wants to go watch it, just that I did find it on YouTube. I found the post credit scene on YouTube. It was gone when I looked for it again. But I'm sure you can still find it in places like that. So if you want to just watch, and it was a pretty good bootleg on YouTube of it. So I would say that, because I watched that a few times to pick out a bunch of different stuff in it. You know, and it was on YouTube, so I can't get in trouble, right? But the movie itself later. Yeah, movie was later. There was don't tell Fight. I know. We need to animate a hand come in and get you. Like
Black hand.
Yeah. But yeah, it just wasn't it was okay. I mean, we have to remember this is a Sony Marvel movie. This isn't an MCU movie, you know? And I think that's why a lot of people probably want to go see it, is because a lot of the hype for the post-credit scene. And also they see Venom, they see Marvel, Spider-Man. Oh, it's MCU. It's not. You know, this movie isn't an MCU movie. This is a Sony Marvel movie. Big difference. So for me, it's a later. So what about you, Will? What'd you give it?
For me, just based off what I expected coming from a Carnage or a Venom movie, it let me down. So I'm gonna give it a later as well, a later. And I guess maybe to kind of piggyback off of your rating as well, I would give the post-credit scene a now and again and again and again. But for the movie itself, I liked it. It was something that didn't piss me off, right? Like, I'm not someone that like really lived through the comic book era as much as like maybe some of my older siblings, but I can appreciate what they try to do in this movie, story wise, visually. They did okay, just okay. Would I watch this movie again? Like, am I aching to watch this movie again in the theaters? No, not at all. Just like Brian here, I probably, maybe if nothing else is on, which there's always something on. There's always something on. Right now, I'm trying to like finish up, what is it, Squid Game? Like I'd watch that before I'd watch this one again.
Yeah.
But yeah, would you guys watch this one again? I think Brian said no, right? Not really?
No.
Not
If
again.
it was one right now, I'd be like, oh man. If it was between this movie and like Spawn from 1998, I'll watch Spawn.
Oh. Yeah.
That's what this movie should have been. It should have been like Spawn. Yeah. It should have been dark as hell. And it should have been like, wow, did you really just do that? That's what this. Yeah. If they would have did this, instead of the $90 million they did this weekend, they would have a second weekend of $180 million. This would have made hella money.
Yeah. Dude, that's exactly. Now that you brought that Spawn up, because I think we were talking about Spawn before we went live, but that makes sense. Spawn was serious. He was the serious guy, and then you had John Leguizamo as the clown, the violator or whatever, the goofy guy, the funny guy, because he's so bad and crazy that it's funny, that he could do funny stuff, and then Spawn is like the serious, broody kind of one. That's what they should have done. So it's a perfect analogy.
The formula works. It works. That formula works. Yeah. I didn't think about that Spawn movie like that. Yeah.
So we got some. So we got Rotten Tomatoes. We got what we usually do. So the tomato meter by the critics gave it a 59%, and the audience gave it an 85%.
Really?
So pretty big difference there. Some of the critics, a sequel aimed squarely at fans for the original Odd Couple chemistry. Venom: Let There Be Carnage eagerly embraces the franchise sillier side, which is true. Which I don't see. It shouldn't have a sillier side. It's not Deadpool. And then audience, with tons of action, fun fight scenes, plenty of comedy. Venom Let There Be Carnage gives fans everything they're looking for. Plus, they can't miss post-credit surprise. Which, if you take out the post-credit scene of this movie, I mean, there's really nothing.
You just reminded me. It makes no sense for Venom to go to a nightclub and not start just chopping off people's heads without Eddie being there. It makes no sense. He should be biting people's heads off left and right. It's all that should have been. No one telling him no.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
He had no rule. Yeah. But but that scene was funny because it was he left Eddie, and went to a gay nightclub and then made all these gay kind of jokes, he just came out of the Eddie closet, he can be himself and they need to accept him. And it was I was like, okay, that was kind of funny. Everyone's cheering and it's oh yeah, but that's not what Venom is. You know what I mean? That's what Deadpool is. That's not Venom.
But even Deadpool had people getting cut up. At least it was very gruesome and bloody. And this is Halloween, and Venom, Let There Be Carnage, didn't have any carnage.
Oof.
Yeah. Very, very, very little. Very disappointing. Yeah, and then also let's see. Box office. Well, go for it. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say it was more like Venom. Let There Be couples therapy or something.
Venom couples therapy.
Pretty much. Yeah. Go ahead. What was the?
The box office. This was obviously only in movie theaters. It was let's see, $90 million North American. Not bad. Right now it's the biggest opening of the pandemic. So since COVID started, this is the biggest opening movie, which kind of shows people want to see movies like this again, and maybe the pandemic is starting to wind down. Hopefully a little bit. We'll see. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like even if the pandemic starts back up even more, double it, and Spider-Man comes out, everybody in their mind will still be watch Spider-Man. People in hazmat suits just be out there, just Spider-Man with a hat over it, like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
people are just ready. They're ready for it.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this is what filmmakers wanted to see. A big opening weekend like this. So. Do you think it's gonna repeat? Because now we're coming into great movies coming out that we're gonna get into. You got the new 007's coming out, Dune, Eternals, Spider-Man. But just around the corner we got the next one. So it's is Venom gonna hold that #1 spot?
I think that 007 will break it, then the Eternals will break it, and then Spider-Man will break it. Back to back to back.
Yeah, I think Dune is that. I think Dune is gonna. We got Venom, No Time to Die, and Dune all come out this month.
Well, see, that's the problem.
It is HBO Max.
It's on HBO Max, and that's why I don't think it's going to beat the numbers. If it was exclusively in the theater, I thought this looks unbelievable. I love Dune, but because of HBO Max, I don't think it's going to beat the numbers. It's going to do maybe 50 or 60 million. I'm going to go see it. But people, as you said, it's better to be at home in your own recliner in a dark place enjoying the movie.
Yeah, true. I'll probably watch it at home. Yeah, I'm gonna go 4K, crank up my my surround sound, and just go crazy with it. Yeah, because I really want to see that movie. But yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, man. Cool, man. Anything else? So if you're watching live, stay tuned. We're gonna talk about the post-credit scene. And we still got our giveaway. We got to announce the winner. If you're watching the replay, check us out on the post-credit video that we post, hopefully shortly after this. And our new giveaway for next week we'll announce as well pretty soon. But that is it for this part of the show. And we'll see you guys next week.